Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. So, in the previous class, we have discussed about ETS system, electron transport system of the mitochondria. Okay, it is already discussed in the last class. Today, we go for the next particular part of the electron transport system. The next part is called chemiosmotic theory. Okay, chemiosmotic theory of mitochondria. Going to share the screen. Okay. So today's topic is the chemiosmotic theory of mitochondria. So basically, we have discussed about the electron transport system in the mitochondria, which is occurring in the inner membrane. In the inner membrane of the mitochondria, electron transport system is occurring, where different types of you can say different types of protein systems are there, which have transported the electron molecule from one part to the another part. Total 5 complexes are there. These electrons are moving from complex 1 to the complex 2, then complex 2 to the complex 3, then complex 4, and finally the complex 5 is the ATP synthase, where ATP synthesis occurs. So when they transported these electrons from one complex to another complex, what happened? They releases the hydrogen ions. You just remember, every complexes when they transported electron from one complex to the another complex, they releases hydrogen ions. Hydrogen ions are releases to the space between inner and outer membrane, the perimembranous space. In this particular space, they releases the hydrogen ion. Okay, so question is there, from where these hydrogen ions are formed? These hydrogen ions are formed from water molecule. That means water molecule dissociates to produce hydrogen ion, and they also release OH negative. Okay, OH negative ion. So H plus positive ion and the OH negative ion. These two are formed from the removal of water molecule. So water molecule is braked to produce OH negative and H plus. So this H plus is going to the inner membrane space. Okay, the space between the outer membrane and the inner membrane. In this particular space, all the hydrogen ion molecules are going there. So what about the OH negative ion? So this OH negative ion, they remain in the matrix. Hydrogen ion are going to the perimembranous space, but the OH negative ion, they remain in the matrix. Okay. So that's why when the electron molecules are passing from one complex to the another complex, they also release the hydrogen ion by the breakdown of water molecule. Water molecule is breakdown, hydrogen ion moving to the perimembranous space, and the OH negative molecule, they remain in the matrix. Okay. Now you can see the chemiosmotic theory. Okay. So the chemiosmotic theory, it is first described by Mitchell in 1967. In 1967, Mitchell, they describe about the chemiosmotic theory. Okay, so you can see the membrane is impermeable. The membrane is impermeable to both H plus and OH negative ion. Okay, so they just say about the membrane. Which membrane? The inner membrane. The inner membrane, where the different complexes are there. Actually, the inner membrane is impermeable for H plus molecule as well as OH negative ion. It is impermeable. So how they are moving from one place to another place? How they are moving? So they are moving through the complexes. You can see through the complexes they are moving, because the membrane is impermeable, but through the complex they can move from one part to the another part. So one part is a matrix another part is a perimembranous space. Okay, perimembranous space and another is a matrix. So in the matrix, water molecule is breaked and they produce H plus and OH negative ion, and this H plus molecule from the matrix they moving to the inner membrane space. Okay, through the complex they are moving, but the membrane is impermeable. Actually the membrane is impermeable, but through the complexes they can move from the matrix to the inner membrane space, or you can see the space between the outer membrane and the inner membrane. Okay, so you can see then next point, for this region if pH difference established, then they act as a energy rich gradient. Okay, now see, so when the H plus molecule from the matrix they are moving to the perimembranous space, then what happens? All the H plus molecule getting inside the perimembranous space, and in the matrix all becomes OH negative. Okay, so when the positive ions moving to the perimembranous space, then the perimembranous space becomes what? Positively charged, and the matrix becomes negatively charged, because all the OH molecules are there in the matrix. So matrix having the OH molecule and the perimembranous space they having the H plus molecule. Now both are different. Perimembranous space they becomes positively charged and the matrix becomes negatively charged. So one side positive charge, one side negative charge. That means they produce a voltage gradient, and because of this voltage gradient they act as a energy rich gradient. They act as the energy rich gradient. Okay, because all the H plus molecule they becomes energy rich gradient, because due to formation of this voltage. Okay, one side positive, one side negative, the electric current or voltage generation is there. That's why every H plus molecule becomes energy rich molecule due to this voltage gradient. Okay, then you can see next point, when the electrons are passes from one carrier to the another carrier, at the same time protons H plus are ejected to the cytoplasmic space, or you can see perimembranous space. In the perimembranous space all the H plus molecules are liberated, they are entered, and the OH negative molecule they remain in the matrix. Okay, and they remain in the matrix, and due to that gradient they produce electric potential. The electric potential is formed due to this electric differentiation. You can see matrix become negatively charged and the cytoplasmic space becomes positively charged. So due to this positive and negative, an electric potential is generated. Okay, and this electric potential is, you can be say this electric potential as an equation. Okay, so this is the equation. You can see this is the equation of electric potential. Okay, now what is delta pH? So delta pH is the pH gradient. Delta pH is the pH gradient. What is delta psi? Delta psi is the electric gradient in voltage. You can see voltage is generated. So delta psi is the electric gradient. Then energy production, which is called delta P. Delta P is the energy production. It is also called as proton motive force. Okay, this is called proton motive force or delta P. Delta P is the proton motive force. Delta pH is the pH gradient. Delta psi is the electric gradient. Okay, so these are three different compounds. So these are all established due to this positive and negative charge in the matrix as well as cytoplasmic space. So these three compounds are formed. One is delta pH. Delta pH is the pH gradient. Delta psi is the electric gradient, and then delta P is the proton motive force. Delta P is the proton motive force. Okay, so if you consider these three parameters, then you can get a particular equation. The equation is like that: delta P equals to delta psi plus 2.3 RT by F. Okay, so delta P equals to delta psi plus 2.3 RT divided by F. So divided by F delta pH. Okay, so this is the equation. Delta P equal to delta psi plus 2.3 RT divided by F delta pH. Okay. Over here, what is R? R is the universal gas constant. R is the universal gas constant. What is T? T is the absolute temperature. T is the absolute temperature. And what is F? F is the Faraday constant. You all know Faraday constant. So Faraday constant comes from the physics. Okay. So this is the constant of voltage, Faraday. So Faraday constant is over here. It is F. And what is delta pH? Delta pH is the pH gradient. Okay. And what is delta P? Delta P is the proton motive force. And what is delta psi? Delta psi is the electric gradient. So based on that, we found this particular equation. Okay. Then you can see the energy generated by electron transport is conserved in energy rich formed in H plus ion gradient. Okay, I already said when this voltage difference occurs between the matrix and the perimembranous space, due to this voltage difference, a current is generated, a electric current is generated. That's why all the H plus molecule which are getting from matrix to the cytoplasmic space, they becomes energy rich molecule. That means all the H plus molecule, they becomes energy rich molecule because they having some voltage which is getting from the matrix to the perimembranous space. Because in the matrix all are negative charge, in the perimembranous space all are positive charge. Due to this positive and negative, an electric current is generated, and this electric current is stored in the terms of H plus ion. So H plus ions, they getting the electric current as a storage. That's why all these H plus molecules, they becomes energy rich compound. They becomes energy rich compounds. Okay. You can see this gradient provides the driving force for the inward transport of phosphate and generation of the ATP. Okay. So this energy molecule is stored inside a H plus molecule. Now when this H plus molecule is binding to the phosphate molecule, okay, phosphate means adenosine diphosphate. Remember, phosphate means adenosine diphosphate. When this adenosine diphosphate binding with the energy rich H plus molecule in the presence of inorganic ion, inorganic phosphate, Pi, okay, adenosine diphosphate plus H plus molecule which is energy rich plus organic Pi. Pi means organic phosphate. Then they produce the energy rich compound which is called ATP molecule. So ATP molecule is formed by the union of ADP plus energy rich H plus organic phosphate, Pi. All these three molecules, they form the energy rich compound which is called ATP molecule. And all these ATP molecules are formed inside the system which is called complex number 5, and which is also called as the ATP synthase. So inside the ATP synthase, this energy rich compound ATP molecules are formed, because all the H plus molecule which is released to the perimembranous space, they are moving to the ATP synthase. I already said they are all moving to the ATP synthase, and they are getting inside ATP synthase, and they produce the energy rich ATP compounds. Okay, so how they are forming this ATP molecule? In the F0 F1 complex, in the F0 F1 complex, or you can say ATP synthase complex, where all the ATP molecule, they are binding with the inorganic phosphate to produce the ATP molecule, and they also produce H2O. H2O to keneke formation korile? This H2O, the water molecule, this is formed by hydrogen ion which is coming from the perimembranous space. From the perimembranous space, hydrogen ions are getting inside. Matrix already having the OH negative molecule, and this OH negative molecule again bind with the hydrogen ion molecule. And after the binding of OH negative and the H plus positive molecule, they produce the water molecule. So water molecule is formed inside in the matrix again. That means before, when the electron molecules are transported from complex 1 to complex 2, complex 2 to complex 3, complex 3 to complex 4, like that, they releases the energy rich hydrogen ion molecule by breakdown of water molecule. Water molecule is breakdown, they release energy rich hydrogen ion, and these are released to the perimembranous space. They all are released, and the matrix becomes OH negative, and the perimembranous space it becomes H plus positive, and they produce a voltage difference and they generate the energy, and this energy is stored inside the H plus molecule. Okay, this is the first point. Second point is that when these H plus molecules are stored in the perimembranous space, all these H plus molecule, they are moving to the complex number 5, which is called ATP synthase, and through the ATP synthase all these H plus molecule getting inside the again to the matrix. Okay, when they coming to the matrix already having the OH negative ion, and this OH negative ion binding with the H plus molecule again, and after that they produce the water molecule. You can see water molecule is again produced inside the matrix, and they produce ATP plus Pi plus H plus, and they produce the ATP energy compound, and the H plus they binding with the OH negative ion to produce the water molecule. Okay, so this is the main concept behind the chemiosmotic theory. Okay, now see.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, hello.
Sir, can you please explain the last 4 points once again?
Okay. Okay, now see, the delta pH means what? This is the pH gradient. Okay, so why pH gradient is formed? Because one side negative charge, one side positive charge. So if the negative charge are more, that means what? Their pH is very high, and when the positive charge are more, their pH is very low, because when the H plus molecules are getting inside the perimembranous space, then perimembranous space becomes acidic in nature. They are acidic, and OH negative ion present in the matrix area, then the matrix become basic in nature. Matrix become basic, and the cytoplasmic space becomes positive, which becomes you can say acidic in nature. Positive cells having the acidic nature, negative cells having the basic in nature. So they form a pH gradient. So this is called delta pH. Delta pH is the pH gradient. pH gradient between the positive acidic condition and the basic condition. Then what is delta psi? Delta psi is the electric gradient. What is electric gradient? Because one side negative charge, one side positive charge. So if one side negative, one side positive, they form a voltage difference, and due to this voltage difference, an electric current is generated, and this electric current is called electric gradient, and which is denoted by delta psi. Okay, and then what is delta P? Delta P is the proton motive force. Okay, the energy produced by proton motive force. Now see, I already said when the electric current is generated, then all the H plus molecule, they becomes energy rich molecule, because they getting the energy. This energy is the energy is liberated due to this voltage difference, and this energy is captured by H plus molecule. Every H plus molecule now they becomes energy rich molecule. Okay, and this is called as a proton motive force, and this capture of H plus molecule by the energy is captured by the H plus molecule, okay, from the electric gradient. That's why all the H plus molecule, they becomes energy rich molecule, and this is called as a proton motive force. Okay, and finally we get an equation, and this is the equation. Proton motive force, the total energy equals to delta psi electric gradient plus 2.3 RT by F delta pH. What is R? R is the universal gas constant, T is the absolute temperature, F is the Faraday constant, and delta pH is the pH gradient. Okay, and after that we getting the total energy. Total energy is the proton motive force by this particular equation. Okay, then you can see I already said the energy which is liberated due to this electric gradient, it is captured by the H plus molecule. That's why H plus molecule becomes energy rich molecule. All the H plus molecule becomes energy rich molecule because they capture the energy which is released by the electric gradient. And then This gradient provide the formation of ATP molecule. This electric gradient provide the formation of ATP molecule. How they help? Because all the energy rich H plus molecule, they now getting inside the complex number 5. The complex number 5 is called ATP synthase. Okay, through the ATP synthase, all the H plus molecules are getting inside. So when they getting inside, this H plus molecule converted ADP plus Pi into energy rich ATP molecule. Okay, and the H plus molecule which release the energy, this energy is captured by the ATP molecule. Okay, and all the H plus molecule, they now becomes they do not have the energy now, because this energy is transferred to the ATP molecule. Okay, because the energy rich H plus molecule, they bind to the ADP plus inorganic phosphate to produce the energy rich ATP molecule. Now the H plus, they do not have the energy, and this H plus molecule now binding with the already present OH negative ion which is present in the matrix. This H plus now binding with the OH molecule to produce the water molecule again. Again they form the water molecule. Okay, and the energy is transferred from H plus molecule to the ATP molecule. Now ATP molecule becomes energy rich molecule. Okay, so Himanshi, now you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, this is the ATP synthase. Okay, so this is the ATP synthase mechanism, complex number 5. This is ATP synthase and this is also ATP synthase. Now see, over here two different mechanisms are going on. One mechanism is there, this is the H plus molecule, all are present in the inner membrane space. This is present inner membrane space, and this is the matrix. So matrix having this F1 particle, and this is the inner membrane space having the H plus molecule. Okay, all these H plus molecules are what? These are high energy H plus molecule. So this H plus molecule getting inside, you can see getting inside. So when they getting inside the matrix, what happened? They converted ADP molecule and phosphate ion into the ATP molecule. They converted. Now this ATP molecule becomes energy rich ATP molecule, and this H plus, it is released, and this H plus binding with the already present OH negative ion in the matrix. In the matrix already present OH negative ion, they bind with this H plus molecule to produce the water molecule. Okay, so this is the normal concept. And another concept is there. What happened? Sometimes what happened? The H plus molecule, it is again revert back to this one, to the inner membrane space. This H plus molecule again revert back to the inner membrane space. So when this H plus molecule is revert back, so in this condition, this H plus molecule, they break this particular formation. The ATP molecule break, again they form ADP plus Pi. Okay, and they release the H plus to the outside again. Okay, so H plus molecule, when they getting inside, they produce the ATP molecule, and when the H plus going outside, they break the ATP molecule into ADP again. Okay, so this is the breakdown of ATP molecule, and this is the formation of ATP molecule. So when the ATP molecules are formed, when H plus molecule getting inside the matrix, and when the ATP molecules are break, when the H plus molecule from the matrix to the inner membrane space, they are going out. When they are going out, ATP molecule is break into ATP molecule. Okay, so these two are the main mechanism of chemiosmotic theory. When they getting inside, they produce the ATP molecule. When they getting outside, they break down the ATP molecule into ADP and the organic phosphate. Okay, you can see this is the budget of the energy, how the energy molecules are transported from one part to the another part. You can see. So this is the matrix area. This is the matrix area, and this is the inner membrane space. This is the inner membrane space, and this is the matrix area. Okay. Now see, these are different complexes. Complex 1, complex 2, complex 3. These are different complexes. Okay. And this is the complex number 5, or you can see ATP synthase. This is a complex number 5 or ATP synthase. Okay. Now see. So in the matrix, different complexes are there. Through these complexes, electron molecules are liberated. They are transported. You can see these are 2 electrons. They are transported from complex number 1 to complex number 2. again from complex number 2 to complex number 3, then complex number 3 to complex number 4. These electron molecules are passing. Okay, these are passes. So when the electron molecules are passes, every electron molecule passing, they releases 2 hydrogen molecule to the cytoplasmic space or perimembranous space. They release 2 hydrogen ions. You can see these 2 electrons are passing from complex 1 to complex 2 and they releases 2 hydrogen ions. Okay, so from where these 2 hydrogen ions are coming? These 2 are coming from the breakdown of water molecule. You can see this water molecule is breakdown. So when the water molecule is breakdown, they releases 2 hydrogen, 2 OH molecule negative ion and 2 H plus molecule ion. Okay, then these 2 H plus molecule, they getting inside through this membrane and they crossing the membrane to release the up to the perimembranous space they releases, and these 2 are the 2 OH molecule remain in the matrix. Okay, so 2 OH molecule remain in the matrix by breakdown of water molecule, and 2 H plus molecule through the complexes they releases to the this one perimembranous space. During from complex 1 to complex 2, they transported 2 electron molecules. At this transport of electron molecule, 2 H2O molecules are breaked to produce 2 OH molecule and 2 H plus molecule, and these 2 H plus molecule through the complex they releases to the perimembranous space, and these 2 OH molecule remain in the matrix. Okay, similarly when these 2 electron molecule passing from complex 2 to complex 3, again they releases 2 hydrogen ion to over here. Okay, similarly when these 2 electron passing from complex 3 to complex 4, again they releases 2 hydrogen ion to the perimembranous space, and every time they break down 2 water molecule to produce the OH negative ion. Okay, now the matrix becomes OH negative ion and the perimembranous space becomes H plus positive ion. So it behaves like acidic in nature and this behave like basic in nature. This is acidic, this is basic. So due to this acidic and basic, they form a gradient, and this gradient is called delta pH or pH gradient. Okay, over here acidic in nature, over here basic in nature. Due to this acidic and basic in nature, they produce a gradient, and this gradient is called pH gradient. Okay, pH gradient, you can see this is a pH gradient, and due to this pH gradient they produce a energy. This energy is called delta pH gradient energy. Okay, then another energy is there which is called delta psi. What is delta psi? Delta psi is electric gradient energy, delta psi. So how it is formed? You can see over here negatively charged, over here positively charged. So positive charge, negative charge. That's why due to this positive and negative charge, they produces a voltage. They produces a voltage difference, an electric difference or electric gradient, and this electric gradient is called as the delta psi or electric gradient or voltage difference. Okay, and this voltage difference gradient is captured by H plus molecule. All the H plus molecule, this voltage difference energy is captured, and that's why all the H plus molecule they are converted to the energy rich H plus molecule. All the H plus molecule they are converted to energy rich H plus molecule, and this energy rich H plus molecule they getting this energy. Okay, and after that all this H plus they moving to the complex number 5. You can see they moving to the complex number 5, and through this complex number 5 all this H plus moving to the F1 particle. So when they moving to the F1 particle, what happen? Inside the F1 particle, this H plus molecule, the energy is released, and this energy is captured by the ADP molecule. ADP molecule getting the energy, and this energy is transferred to the ATP molecule, and finally they produce the ATP molecule. Now the ATP molecule having the energy, because this energy is coming from the high energy H plus molecule. This energy is transferred to the ADP molecule. ADP molecule binding with the inorganic phosphate to produce the energy molecule ATP. This energy is transferred to the ATP molecule. Okay, and now the H plus molecule it do not have the energy, and this H plus molecule now binding with the previously formed OH negative ion. This is already present. This OH negative ion now binding with the H plus molecule to produce the water molecule again. Okay, now this matrix is again filled with the water molecule. Okay, and the cycle is continued. Okay, then when they form the water molecule, this water molecule again break for a new cycle to produce the H plus molecule. Okay, and this cycle is cyclically going on like that. Okay, and this is called chemiosmotic theory, which is proposed by Mitchell. Now we need to know about the energetics of the glucose oxidation. Okay, so every glucose breakdown inside the mitochondria or in the cytoplasm, they produces the energy. And how much energy it produces? They produces almost 38 ATP. They produces 38 types of ATP produces by breakdown of one molecule of glucose. If one molecule of glucose is breakdown, they produces total 38 ATP molecules. Now we have to know the total budget, how these 38 ATP molecules are produced. Okay, now see, number 1 point, during glycolysis and the Krebs cycle can generate 2 ATP molecules individually, total 4 ATP molecules. You can see during the glycolysis process in the cytoplasm, they produces 2 ATP molecules. In the Krebs cycle also, they produces 2 ATP molecules. As a total of glycolysis and the Krebs cycle, total 4 ATP molecules are produced. 2 in the glycolysis, 2 in the Krebs cycle, total 4 ATP molecules are produced. Okay. Along with the 4 ATP molecules, they produces 10 NADHs, 10 molecule of NADHs. Okay. From this 10, 2 are produced in the glycolysis. 2 NADHs are produced in the glycolysis. 2 are produced in the oxidative phosphorylation. In the oxidative phosphorylation, they produces 2 NADHs, and 6 NADHs are produced in the Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle also produces 6 NADHs. As a whole, total is the 10. 2 in the glycolysis, 2 in the oxidative photophosphorylation, and 6 in the Krebs cycle. As a whole, 10 NADHs. Also, they produces 2 FADH2. 2 FADH2 also produces. Okay, that means that total produces 4 ATP, 10 NADHs, and 2 FADH2. Total they produce. Okay, and as a whole, they produces equivalently 34 ATP molecules. 34 ATP molecules from 10 NADHs and 2 FADH2. From 10 NADHs and 2 FADH2, they produces 34 ATP molecules. Okay, and already they produce the 4. So 4 plus 34, total 38 type of ATP molecules are produced from each glucose oxidation. From each glucose oxidation, total they produce 38 ATP molecules. 4, it is already produced in the glycolysis in the Krebs cycle. 2 plus 2, 4. They produces the 10 NADHs and 2 FADH2. From this 10 NADHs and 2 FADH2, they produces total 34 ATP molecule. So 34 plus 4, total 38 ATP molecule. Okay, now see the most important point. Total they produce 38, but 2 ATP molecules are utilized. 2 ATP molecules are utilized during the glycolysis process, because in the glycolysis process they produces the 2 ATP molecules. These 2 ATP molecules already utilized in the glycolysis process. How they utilize? For a transport of 2 NADH molecule to the mitochondrial membrane, because you can see 2 NADH molecules are produced in the glycolysis, and these 2 NADH molecules have to be transported from the cytoplasm to the mitochondrial membrane. They have to transport it, and during this transportation they need energy, and this energy is coming from the breakdown of 2 ATP molecule, which is produced in the glycolysis. That means 2 ATP molecules are already finished. So total energy budget is what? 38 minus 2, total 36 is the ATP. That means during the breakdown of one glucose molecule, they produces net energy is the 36 ATP molecules they produce. Okay, total 38 actually they produce, 2 are utilized. That means 36 ATP molecules are the net energy production of ATP molecule by the breakdown of only one glucose molecule. Okay, now see, one ATP molecule can produce 36.8 kilojoule of energy. One ATP molecule can produce 36.8 kilojoule of energy. So as a whole, total 36 ATP molecules can produce 1325 kilojoule of energy. That means from one glucose molecule breakdown, we can get 1325 kilojoule energy from one glucose molecule. Okay, we can get 1325 kilojoule energy. So if you consider this all the phases in a one particular chemical reaction, so this is the chemical reaction. You can see this is one glucose molecule C6H12O6 plus 36 inorganic phosphate plus 36 ADP molecule plus 6O2 plus 6H2O to produce 6 CO2, 36 ATP plus 12 H2O. This 36 ATP molecule is coming from the 36 inorganic phosphate and 36 ATP molecule. Both are combined together to produce the ATP molecule in the presence of hydrogen ion. Remember, hydrogen ions are very important because all the hydrogen ions are energy rich hydrogen ion molecule. They are getting inside the complex number 5 and they help this particular mechanism to produce the ATP molecule. Okay. So this is the energetics of the glucose oxidation. Then the last one, the P by phosphate by oxygen ratio. Now what is phosphate by oxygen ratio? For that we have to know from one NADH molecule, just to remember, 3 ATP molecules are formed. From one NADH molecule, 3 ATP molecules are formed. You can see over here, total 10 NADH molecules are here. If one NADH molecule produces 3 ATP, so total 10 NADH, how many ATPs can produce? They can produce total 30. One NADH can produce 3, 10 can produce 30. What about FADH2? One FADH can produce 2 ATP. One FADH can produce 2 ATP. So 2 FADH can produce 4 ATP. So 4 plus 30 total 34. Okay, and already they produce the 4. So 4 plus 34 total 38. 2 is utilized. So 38 minus 2, 36. So this is the ratio. You can see NADH plus H plus to produce 3 ADP plus 3 PI and half O2 to produce the NADH plus 4 H2O and 3 ATP. You can see total 3 ATP molecules are formed from one NADH. So from 10 NADH they can produce total 30 ATP molecule, and from 2 FADH they produce 4 ATP molecule. So 30 plus 4, 34, already prepared 4, 34 plus 4, 38, 2 is utilized, 38 minus 2, 36. Okay. Now you can see what is P by O ratio. P is the phosphate molecule, O is the oxygen molecule. So how many phosphate molecules are used over here? 3 phosphate molecules are used. And how many oxygen molecules are used? Only half. Half oxygen molecules are used. You can say 1 oxygen molecule. So 1 oxygen molecule is used, 3 phosphate molecules are used. So P by 3, 3 by 1 equal to 3. So total ratio is the 3. You can see the total ratio is the 3. 3 by 1 equals to 3. Okay. So the P by O ratio for the production of ATP molecule is the 3, because one NADH molecule can produce 3 ATP molecule. So one NADH molecule can bind with the 3 inorganic phosphate and 1 molecule of oxygen to produce the 3 ATP molecule. That's why the ratio of P by O equals to 3. P equal to 3, O equal to 1. So 3 by 1 equals to 3. So as a whole, this is the ratio of P by O. And this is the energetics of the glucose oxidation, and this is the total chemiosmotic theory of mitochondrial membrane transport. Okay, so this is about it. This is about the chemiosmotic theory. So in your examination, question may come as a short note. Write a short note of chemiosmotic theory. So in this short note, you have to write details about these parameters. Okay, you have to draw this diagram. You have to write these particular points. You have to draw this diagram. You have to draw this diagram also, and you have to write the energetics of the glucose oxidation and P by O ratio. So this is about it. This is a short note on chemiosmotic theory of mitochondria. But just try to remember the ETS cycle, electron transport system of mitochondria. This question comes as a long question. It is not come as a short note. This long question. Question may arises like that. Write down the ETS cycle of mitochondrial energetics, 9 marks plus 3 marks for chemiosmotic theory. Okay, question may arises like that. What is a chemiosmotic theory? 3 marks plus write in detail about the electron transport system, 9 marks. So 9 plus 3 total 12 marks, like that. So question may arises like that. Or question may arises marks may be varies from 2 plus 7, 9 marks also there. 2 marks for the chemiosmotic theory, 7 marks for the ETS. Okay, or maybe 3 plus 9 total 12 marks. Okay, so this is about it. Thank you very much. So if you have any question regarding this topic, you can ask about this one, chemiosmotic theory. Any question? So Himanshi, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any more questions? Okay. So if you do not have any question, you can leave. Thank you.